Episode 80 of the podcast. This week we're talking about COVID-19. We're going to talk about how to help our owners be calm, help educate our owners about how things are different, and also how we can help educate dogs about the way things are going to be different for quite a while. You're listening to the Creating Great Grooming Dogs podcast. I'm Chrissy Newmeyer-Smith. I'm a certified professional groomer, a certified behavior consultant for canines, a certified professional dog trainer, and the owner of Happy Critters in Nashua, New Hampshire. And this, my friends and colleagues, is the podcast where grooming and training meet. If we're getting ready to start grooming again, or even if you've been grooming through all of this, dealing with some of those challenges, new procedures, this topic today is about COVID-19 and the way that our jobs are going to be different for a while. And I want to take a moment here to say that as groomers, as trainers, as veterinary staff, we should be being kind to each other and helping each other out. I know it's a topic that many of us are really passionate about, and some of that passion has been coming out as hostility. I'd really like us to just kind of focus on what our facts are and helping other people be more educated. Okay, so today is really kind of off topic. COVID-19 and operating procedures aren't part of this podcast, but handling the dogs and handling our customers is really on topic, and that's what I'm going to focus on today. Some of this is about teaching customers, and dog training is all about training people. So educating our customers is so important, especially right now. It won't be business as usual. And some of our customers are going to feel like they're being asked to jump through hoops. So I've come up with a number of different concerns that we might hear our customers talk about, whether that be, coming to the vet's office or going to a grooming salon or having the van come up and mobile grooming unit coming to our houses, or in my case, as a house call groomer. And of course, with dog training. Why can't we have a group class like we always did? So my dog training customers, I'm doing online courses right now and doing one-on-one lessons, which has always been my thing anyway, one-on-one lessons, but doing them online through Zoom conferencing. So lots of our businesses are changing, and we have a lot of concerns that our owners are coming up with. So I just wrote down a list of them, and we're going to discuss them. So here's one. What? A mask? They're dogs. They don't carry it. Why do I need to wear a mask? Our owners are going to ask that. And we need to remind them that our place of business, we still are going to require masks from everybody so that we aren't cross-contaminating each other. Now, I kind of want all of us to remember that it's a safety thing for everybody, and it is okay to tell our owners every owner has to wear a mask too. It's okay. Let it go. Don't worry about being embarrassed. Don't worry about what they're going to say. Make it a hard rule. And if you have to, think about that one customer that you have. Picture one person, individual, that would definitely suffer if they caught this. I don't know about you guys, but I've had plenty of customers who were on chemo or were having lung problems. And I'm thinking about a particular person, and it helps me stick to my guns, okay? That I don't want this one person to catch it from me, through interactions with my other customers. So just relax, picture that one person, and that's going to help you say, yes, you, Mrs. So-and-so, I'm going to need you to wear a mask if we are anywhere near each other. Because that 6-foot distance is great, but if we're all wearing masks, we're all protecting each other from contracting something that could be deadly for the wrong person. And I think that while there are people who are upset about wearing masks, there are protesters out there. You know what? We can't be here trying to please them. Think about that one person that could die from this. Because we all know at least one person, like my dad's asthmatic, who knows what would happen if he got some terrible lung infection. Okay, so be thinking about that. That's a common thing customers are going to ask. Here's another one that customers might ask you. Why do you need to know if we're sick at our house? Dogs don't carry it. I'll just pass you the leash. So that's a little bit more for if you're actually interacting with people versus if you have like a cage outside, some sort of a station where they're putting their dog and you're not coming into physical contact. But before I go to somebody's house, even though I'm grooming outdoors right now, I am not going into people's homes. I might go in their garage, but I'm not going into their living spaces. I'm still going to ask them, are you sick? And while dogs don't carry it, and they don't pass the virus to people, or they don't seem to, I still see it as this is a living being that they have been snuggling with, breathing on, sneezing on, coughing on. And I'm now taking that dog into my hands, right? And trainers, vets, I think sometimes you guys forget that we as groomers are putting them up on a table, up at eye level, and we've got our hands all over them. So it's important for us to know if those owners are sick. That it's okay for us to ask that. And it's okay for us to say, I want to put your appointment off a little bit longer. Now, here's another concern, something that we're going to be thinking about. Customers who say, I don't like using a credit card. I'll do cash or check. We're all going to be wearing gloves. I don't want to use a credit card or an ATM card or do anything technological because I think technology is scary, right? We're going to run into that. And I think that we need to kind of decide if we're willing to take cash, if we're willing to take checks. Now, using a credit card could be something that's a little bit scary for people. Using one online, because ideally it's about less contact with people. So if I'm using a Square card reader and still swiping, well, let's still contact with each other. But all right, we can still use a Lysol wipe or something and make sure that we're trying to keep this as safe as possible. But ideally, I would rather just invoice them through Square or I use Pocket Suite, which is an app that I use for my scheduling and texting, and it automatically sends out reminder texts and stuff. There's a way for them to just already have all of their information there, and I just click charge when it's done. And that has been really handy. Some of my customers aren't ready to use it, but these times are different. Honestly, some of my customers are just, the type who pay cash every time, which is great, but not right now. So if somebody is really reluctant to use technology, I want you guys to figure out the best way to handle cash or the best way to handle checks. And I don't really know what that is. I think that that's something we all need to ask and find out about. But know that customers are going to say it. They're going to say, I'm a little bit worried about using credit cards. Here is another thing that I think our customers are going to be saying. I don't want to wait that long for an appointment. Can't you just fit us in? I've been a good customer for years. And it's okay for us to say all of our customers right now are in the same boat. And some of this is going to be some triage, right? Some of this isn't necessarily going to be the first person who got rescheduled or canceled, right? Some of this is going to be the dog that needs it most. Or the owners that need it most. Some of our labs are going to wait longer. No, I don't groom the labs. I don't groom the large dogs. When I'm grooming at somebody's home, they're all dogs that fit in the kitchen sink or a laundry room sink. I don't kneel on the floor next to bathtubs anymore. So for me, they're all small dogs. But you know what? Those small bath and dry, yeah, a bath and a neaten is going to take a little bit longer for me to get to because some of my older guys that actually need trims and have moles that are oozing and things like that, they need to be done first if I can get to them, so it's okay for us to tell people, you know what, I appreciate that you've been a good customer for years. I wish I could fit you in sooner, but all of my customers are valuable to me, just as valuable as you are. We're all going to get this as best we can. And be prepared for that, because I know it's going to be really tempting for us to be like, what do you mean, can I just fit you in? But these are their concerns. We're going to address their concerns, and we're going to help them understand why we need to do things the way that we do. and that we can't work 24/7. I don't know about you guys, the temptation is there to just say, yeah, let's just get as much grooming done as I can so that I can make money again. But, we're going to burn out that way. So take a deep breath, be thinking about being compassionate toward our owners, right? Now, here's another one that we're going to hear a lot of. And be prepared for this one. Why are you going to have to clip his hair super short? It's not my fault you canceled our appointment in April. He's madding because you closed. All right. We're all going to run into a few of those. And those are the customers who think that they're buying a trim. They're customers that have forgotten that they're buying a service and that our services are based on how much time we spend on something. While it isn't their fault that their appointment in April got canceled, it is their fault if their dog is matted. Okay, we need to remind owners that they have some responsibilities and that it's not really our fault that we canceled their appointments in April either, because the globe has a problem. The world has a problem right now, right? So any of your customers who are like, it's not my fault that you canceled our appointment in April. He's matted because you closed. And why are we going to have to clip his hair short? You know what? We're just going to have to help them understand that this is what has to happen. If their dog has been so matted that we just need to do over, then that's what we're going to have to do. And we're just all going to have to get through it. These circumstances are unusual. Now, I'm going to say, my own customers and many of you who've been listening to the podcast, we're trying to educate customers about being able to handle their dogs, touching their dogs all over, being able to do a lot of this stuff with their dogs. My own customers haven't been all that affected by me being closed for the last month and a half. And in many ways, I'm so very proud of them. They've been, you know what? We know how to do it. It won't look as pretty as when Chrissy does it, but we're going to go ahead and we're going to trim around his bum. We're going to trim around his eyes. We're going to make sure he gets his medicated bath. Because a lot of the things that owners need to do to help keep their dogs healthy are really kind of entry-level grooming stuff, right? Think about brush or bather job, some light brushing, a bath, trimming around eyes or bums, right? We're not asking them to do full grooms. They aren't expecting their grooms to come out pretty. But most of my customers, because they're educated about what is responsible dog ownership, they've been keeping up with it. So it's a good time to remind your customers that their dog shouldn't be matted when they're coming in. And if they want the trim to look like it usually does, they have time to start brushing before they come in. All right, so next one. Here's one. Why can't I drop him off all day like I used to? Now, for many of us, we're trying to minimize the amount of dogs being around each other, as well as minimize our exposure to each other. So a lot of people are having people drop off, doing one at a time grooming, and then bringing their dog home. And I can understand why for some people they aren't going to understand why they can't leave them all day. But if that is your new policy, I want you to think about why you made that policy and why that's important, and help them understand that this is for their own health and safety. This is so their dog isn't exposed to even more people and more stuff that they could track home. If you're enjoying this podcast, please remember to subscribe so that you don't miss any episodes, and tell all of your friends. Something else that many of our dogs are going to find surprising about this new world of ours with humans wearing masks. So I want you to think about, from a dog's point of view, they are masters at reading people. And they're watching our faces, they're watching the way our body moves, they're watching for stiffness. They're actually paying an awful lot of attention to our body language. And wearing a mask blocks a lot of our emotions. All right, I know that sounds kind of anthropomorphic, like they're watching our emotions. But you think about the kind of things that we relay to our dogs through our face, through looking at them, through smiling or frowning or looking really tense. Much like when I talk about looking for tenseness and stiffness in the dogs are watching us for signs of tense and stiff or loose and happy and relaxed. So when we're wearing a mask, it throws an awful lot of dogs off. Now, I wear a mask when I'm drying dogs and have been for years, so many of the dogs that I groom are already used to me wearing a mask. But even now, the couple of dogs that I've started getting back into grooming in their backyards, they're a little thrown off. They're like, Chrissy, why aren't you kissing us? Why aren't you snuggling us like you usually do? And I'm wearing the mask the entire time, which I'm sure they're a little bit trying to search for my face to see the emotion, see what's going on. So one of the things that I do to teach dogs about a mask, or things that I have been doing in the past when it was simply for drying purposes, is I'll put the mask on, but it's almost like playing peekaboo with a little kid. I kind of pop it off my face, lower the mask like, ta-da, it's me. Ta-da, it's me, and raise the mask, and ta-da, it's me, lower the mask, raise the mask. But also to keep there's going to be a lot more talking. Like, hey, sweetie, aren't you being good? So that they can hear the voice and the emotions that are going on with that voice, even if they can't see a smile, even if they can't see the face is relaxed. Eyes tell a lot, but sometimes we're wearing glasses. Now we're wearing glasses with a mask, maybe headphones. I mean, really, we're covering up most of our head. And for a lot of dogs, that's a little bit scary. So if your dogs aren't used to seeing people wearing masks, you're going to have to use a little bit more of the chipper talking. Like, hey, sweetie, especially think about a dog that just got dropped off, and they're walking in to a room full of people wearing masks. I mean, maybe that's a room full of 3 employees, but employees are wearing masks, and that's going to be a little scary. Just make sure we're using our voices to check in with them more often. Like, hi, sweetie. Hey, you. That's me. Hi. I know that's such a Chrissy voice. We'll pretend I'm a dude. Hey, who's a good boy? Yeah, who's a good guy? Come here, little guy, But we're going to have to make up for what they can't see and help them be comfortable. And if they can't see our faces, and maybe they can't see that our eyes are scrunched up in a smile, that we need to be able to use our voice to help reassure. And expect them to be a little bit off by it. That's okay. It's not forever. It doesn't mean like, oh, this dog hates people with masks. Maybe they've had a couple of bad experiences where, they really like reading people's faces. Maybe they've had a couple of bad experiences in their life where, they couldn't see someone's face and they think it's a little scary. But you know what? Most of the stories that I hear of, he must have had a bad experience, are simply a case of a dog who has no experience. I think a lot of our dogs have no experience with seeing masks. They don't know what they are. Much like the dog that I adopted when she was a young pup, I don't think she had seen a child yet. I don't think a child had done anything to her. I think that she was just about 6 months old before she ever saw one. And my goodness, those things are weird. So let's assume that these dogs haven't been seeing masks, or maybe they've only seen them like for glimpses as people walk past, or maybe when their owners come in and take it off. So if we can tell our owners that we're going to be wearing masks and that it'd be perfect for them to get their dog used to the idea of them wearing a mask in the house. Like, make that like something that they teach their dogs about. Like, hey, look, mommy's wearing something on her face. Hey, look, daddy's wearing something on his face. Like that. Get them used to masks and normalize it a little bit more before they come to the shop. Chances are your owners are going to have a day or two before they come in. You think about you're making an appointment for them, they're going to have at least a day or two to work on it. A day or two is a good amount of time, right? Just make sure that they know it's like happy cookie time, happy fun time, like, hey, look, mom's wearing a mask, so that it's normal by the time they come to the shop. that's one of the challenges we're going to have. Now, here is another one. Here is another challenge we're going to have with the dogs that we usually need two people for something. So even if we have a dog who is a little bit scared, there are times when, like even for myself, I'll have an owner cradle that dog in their arms while I trim their nails because that dog finds that really relaxing, but that's not going to be something I'm going to be able to do right now with social distancing. So what are some of the ways that we can work around the need for having two people? Well, if you really do need two people, I think it would be best if it were your coworker and not an owner. Now, I'm working in people's houses, so I'm not bringing a coworker. But I do have one customer that I'm a little bit unsure about. I think he might be too wound up being groomed outside, so I might have my hubby help me because my hubby is somebody I have been quarantining myself with, right? So he's my quarantine buddy. And if I need somebody who's just there to help calm a dog, but there are legal problems with that, right? I would only do that with a dog that I am absolutely certain is gonna do nothing but love on him, right? Because he's not an employee. So we need to be thinking about if we need two people, we need to come up with some other plans. That might be trying using some of the groomer hammocks. Now, there are the ones that they just basically put, like, each leg goes through its own hole and it's suspended on your grooming arm, or maybe one of the bar type arms that's goes across the entire table. That could be a good solution for some of your dogs. I know that that's something I'm planning on doing with a couple of my little guys and hoping that that's something that they feel secure with. Because for them, it's more a matter of feeling secure. I have a couple of elderly dogs that are, I think it's dementia. Like they're really easily frightened. They don't see well anymore. They're kind of bobbing around all over the place. They bang into things at home. Like they are not healthy dogs, and we're trying to work around a health problem. So I'm going to try, a dog hammock with them and see if that helps for the couple of things, not the entire grooming. Another thing that you can try is to use one of your grooming loops and a tie off on the floor someplace so that you can then have them up against a wall and kind of just work with them up against the wall between your body and the wall and help them feel secure. I did God only knows how many nail trims with a dog up against a wall like that at my first grooming job because that was an easiest way for me by myself to have a dog tethered to the wall with a grooming loop, like they're not choking themselves out. It's the same kind of grooming loop I would use on the table, but just secure enough that they can't really get away and they aren't going to fall. We're not on a table anymore. So we can be on the floor, we can be calming them down, and then doing nails or trimming around a bum or trimming around eyes is much more manageable and safe. So be thinking about also the dogs that usually you might have two people working on. You might need to tell people this is going to take longer and this is going to cost more for now. And that was part of the talk I was having about the things that customers are going to need to hear about and be reassured about and understand so that they aren't surprised. We don't want surprised customers. We want our customers to know exactly what we're doing, exactly how things are going to be, exactly what we're going to try if we think it doesn't work. And let them know if it's something you don't usually do. Let them know this is something you thought about their particular dog, and you're trying to make this the best possible experience for their individual dog while keeping all of the humans healthy, happy, and safe too. And I think that many of our owners, once they understand that, before they even drop the dog off, or before the dog gets groomed, after they drop off, to let them know this is how we're going to try to do things and then address any of their concerns. It gives them the feeling that we're doing this for them, because really we are, right? If you're a dog groomer or a vet tech or a veterinarian or a dog trainer or a dog walker, we're doing it because we love the dogs. Ideally, we love our people as much too. right? Our awesome customers treat every customer like they're the awesome customer, and that's what they become. All right. But be thinking about our owners are wondering why they have to change the way we do things. And we need to kind of tell them, like, I don't want to be, holding a dog while another groomer is there trying to trim something on them. Like that's much, much too close, right? I want to stay safe. I want the other person to stay safe. Can't talk today. But be thinking about all of these things are things that we need to be upfront about. And we need to be thinking about now before we start having the problem, right? Before the dog that you usually have, somebody hold their body while you trim nails. We need to think about it now before we book that, right? What are we going to try? And if you have an idea, try it on a dog that doesn't have an issue, right? If you're not used to doing nails on the floor and securing a dog up against the wall and maybe kind of giving them a no place to go, right? If you're not used to that, try it with a dog who's totally calm about their nails. Try it out. Don't wait for it to be hard, right? We have a learning curve, right? We need to be gentle to ourselves as learners too. If it's something new to you, try it on a dog that's not going to be a problem before you try it on a dog who does have some issues. And be patient, all right? As an industry, we should all be patient with each other. We should be patient with our customers. We should be patient with the dogs. And we should just know that this is something that is going to be new for all of us. So be thinking about ways that we can help the dogs, help the owners, and keep ourselves, our staff, and our communities safe. If you'd like more information, you can find me at Chrissy@happycritters.net, happycrittersdogtraining.com, or you can join the Facebook group, Creating Great Grooming Dogs podcast, or the Facebook page, Creating Great Grooming Dogs. I really look forward to hearing from you.